Hello everyone, today we're doing TryHackMe's Creative, capture the flag, so we'll just get the IP address, we'll set it, and then we'll do an Nmap scan. We'll just do a fast one, and then we'll set the IP address down here, and over here I guess too, right here. Just in time for this to finish. So we get port 80, and it says did not follow redirect for creative THM. So let's add that to our host file. All right, so we'll just do sudo nano that's the host, and then we'll go down here and paste our IP tab, and then it was creative.thm. Save that. Now we can do a Feroxbuster on that and see if we can find any directories. And there's an asset directory, but nothing that's of any use for us in there. So if we do a vhost scan like the with Ffuf, we can do scan for vhosts. So we'll just do that Ffuf, and then the word list that we're going to use is just user share. It's not how you spell share. Word list, derb list, or derb, not dorb, derb, and then derb, small. Dang, I can't spell for crap right now. Small depth text, and then the U flag or the URL, and that's going to be creative.thm. And then since it's a vhost, we have to give it the H flag for the header, and then double quotes host colon, and then we're going to do uppercase fuzz dot creative dot thm in double quote. So it looks like this. Can't see it all the way. And of course, we forgot to give it a code. So we'll give it match code for 200, and we get a VLAN host of beta. So let's add that to the ethost file. So now if we should have copied that, but we'll So we get a beta URL tester. It says this page provides the functionality that allows you to test a URL to see if it is alive. Enter a URL in the form below and click submit to test it. So if we were to enter H, it doesn't resolve to any anything normal that I've found. If you put in like google.com, it doesn't do anything. But if we go and open up Burp Suite, because we're going to need that anyways, copy this. Come on now. There we go. Get rid of that. We don't need it. So if we go here and we just like type in the address for, let's just type in what that address for itself, but get rid of the beta part, and let's see what that does. Forward, 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 forward. That's a lot of stuff. So it loaded itself. It is, it's. Now let's try and see what happens if we give it its local host and see if it still does the same. So instead of this, let's just put in the local host address. So 127.0.0.1. And it's loading something. So it loaded itself on its own local host. So it's recognizing, it's pulling from itself. So that suggests ssrf. So if we go here and if we just change this to, no, put a colon here and then just type in fuzz and then enter that. And then we'll just copy all of this. Not all of it, we don't need all of it. We just need this part. And we'll open up we'll put it in mouse pad real quick. We need that part, and then we need the first two lines. This needs to be back in normal normal characters, not URL encoded. So just put these back into like that format. And then we need this one, the content type, because it's a post request, so and it's got something in the body, so it needs to know what it's doing. So we'll place that right there. And that should be everything we need. Let's just copy this. Actually, we don't even need to copy it. We'll just save it here. Save as just request dot txt. Save. So now let's make a above command for that, just so we can copy it here so you can see what it looks like. It's easier here than in the terminal. So it's just going to be, we need to fuzz for ports because we're trying to find internal services. So first we're going to just do sequence and then 1 to 2000, this is the space, and then just redirect that into like port list dot text, and then we'll just do and pub, and then request, and then it's the file that you named it, request text, and then request proto, and that's going to be HTTP, and then you're just going to do the word list and then we're going to give it a filter for words and 3 length. Because if you go to here and then you send to repeater and then you forward it, the content length is 13. So we can do, you can do content length, or you could do filter for words. This one says dead, but there's that counts as a word, that counts as a word, and that counts as a word. Second, right? I don't know. Render. If you run Ffuf without it, all the errors are 3. So to get the one you want, you just filter all the ones that are the ones you don't want. So to do that, instead of just assuming that it's 3 words, I'll just show you. So if you do this, you get all these that are 200s, and they're all 3 words, but then there's like port 80 we know is already going. So if we go up to port 80, any day now. All right, so we go to port 80, it's got 14,868 words. All the other ones have 3. So if we just do filter for 3, we'll just get the ones we want. And that's 80 and 1337. So now if we go back to here and let's just copy our URL here. Well, let's just undo interceptor. Now if we go here and we just type in 1337, it lists the internal directories. So let's look at home directory. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So we go to home. Can't do that. All right. Well, if we go here and you just type in home, you get sad and Ubuntu. So let's go back and then type in. Oh no. There we go. SAAD. Enter. And now we have a bunch of random directories. There's user text, start server pi, snap, SSH. That sounds interesting. Let's see about that. So .ssh. And sure enough, there's IDRSA. So let's see if we can get that too. So IDRSA. And we get it right there. So let's just do view page source so we can copy it nice and cleanly. We grab that, copy it. We don't need this anymore. Close it. Yes. So now we'll just nano IDRSA. Paste that. Save it. What did I just do? Paste it. Okay, great. All right, here we go. All right, now from audit, 600, so it's yours. And then we'll just do SSH to John because I'm not going to waste your time showing you that it's um, got a passphrase. So we'll do that. And then you do John, that's Jin, with rock u for the hash. And it might take a little while to get to it, depending on your system and how beastly it is. And if you're running a GPU or just a CPU or so we get sweetness for that. So we can just do SSH, and then it was sad, and then at IP. Well, actually, we got to do the dash ID RSA. Then that. Copy the sweetness. Enter. Yes. Paste sweetness in or type it in, whatever you got to do. And then we get that. So LSLA cat user dot text. We get the first flag. So now we get the second one. Um, to do that, we'll just do, if you just cat the bash history, because it's not disappearing like it normally is. Every other one's going straight to dev null. So if we go here, there's echo sad, my strongest password yet. Not very strong anymore. So let's copy that. And then we're already sad, so let's just see if that goes for sudo. And it does. And we can use ping, and it's got the environment keep load preload or library preload. So we can force it to preload a library that we make our own. So to do that, we we just make a C script and compile it with GCC to um, just give us a just to run bash as a privileged or as root because we're going to be running it as root. So to do that, just change directory into the temp, and then we're going to just do cat a here doc, so cat and then direct it into the important here doc, and then redirect that into, just to be sure, temp and whatever you want to name it. I'm just going to get this .c and then enter, and then it's going to be pound sign include, and then angle bracket stdio dot h other angle bracket enter, and then just make this quick. I'm not going to type everything out like that. Type that, paste that, and then same thing. It's going to be angle bracket, and then stdlib for lib dot h, and that one's the second one. And then you're just going to do void and then underscore init, and then open close parentheses space squig curly bracket open curly bracket enter, and then it's just unset env, and then parentheses, double quotes, and that's going to be LD for the library, and then the preload, double quote, end parentheses, semicolon. So it looks like that. And then enter. And then this one is set res uid. And then it's just parentheses 0, 0, 0, in parentheses, semicolon, enter, and then system, parentheses, bin, double quote, bin bash, double quote, in parentheses, semicolon again, enter, end curly brackets, enter, and then in the here doc with EOF, enter, and now we just got to compile it. So we're just going to do this all in one thing and just make it up here and right here. So it's just GCC and then shared. It's going to be a shared library. The O flag for output, and we're going to put it in the temp file, and it's going to be called get this, not that, get this dot so, because it's got to be a shared library. So just make it be an so for the output file name, and then the file that we're going to be making is the temp whatever you called it .c, and then the flag for we're going to give it as lowercase f, and then the pic for so it can select where it wants to load into memory freely. So it's shared and it needs to be able to do that on its own. Then you just do another flag for no start files, so it doesn't add anything into it to start. It's just how the code that we gave it. And then after that, we're just going to chain command the sudo command that we need to run after that, which is just sudo, and then we actually have to add something else to it. It's not just the one we think. It's going to be LD and then the preload, preload, and then equals the directory that we put it in. So it's going to be the temp get this .so or whatever you named it, and then just ping. And then you're going to need to type the password in for the user that we had before. So we'll just paste this all at one go, and we'll have root just like that. Bam! So we never need to type the password in because we had already typed it in just a second, a while ago. So it had already, it hadn't timed out yet. But if you take more time, it will require you to type the password in. So anyways, let's just finish this up. Oop. And we get the root flag. So that's the end of this walkthrough. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or requests, hit me up. Peace.